Ooh, now I gotta go here. Any questions that you have? It's all open. I leave it up to you to direct which way this goes. It can go anywhere, folks. It can go anywhere, and it is all dependent upon you. We have a first question back here.
What got you started on the supernatural for getting cast?
Say again?
What got you, when you got cast to Supernatural, what got you started in that?
What got me started in it?
Yeah.
I didn't have to, usually in Hollywood you have to audition for a part, right? You go through a whole process of going through the casting director, the producers, and then network, and there's just a whole bunch of hurdles you have to overcome. And I was fortunate enough not to have to do any of that for Supernatural. They called my agent, your representative, and said, would Mark be interested in playing Lucifer? And I said, are you kidding? No! Yeah, of course I said yes, and that's what started it. So, relatively simple process for Supernatural. This is weird. I'm getting a weird sound thing. Let me see where it's better. 1, 2, hello, 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 hello. Weird. Does that answer your question? Are you an actor? No? You want to be an actor? Come on. Long ago? We're all actors, as Marlon Brando would say. You have a question?
Yes, that's not what everyone's expecting.
So it's not nasty or dirty.
How was it annoying Sam?
How did it look?
Good.
Good?
Do you like getting told to shut up? Apparently.
What's this?
You like getting told to shut up? Apparently.
Being told to shut up? Me? Did somebody say that I'm being told to shut up on the set? What's that?
When in the program.
Oh, Sam. Oh, okay. I thought you meant like when they cut. Sam was like, "Will you shut up? Driving me insane." Yeah, no, it's fun playing with Jared that way. We didn't get to see Lucifer doing that before, right? Lucifer had bigger plans, and now he's just an imp, a little devil in his shoulder causing problems. I wish he had bigger plans, but it is fun. It is fun tormenting Jared. Jared's fun to torment. Because occasionally he torments us when the cameras aren't rolling. So it's a little payback, as they say. Yes? What happened to Bill?
A bit long.
Where have I heard that before?
Something like that. I first saw you on Being Human, the US one. You seem to have a knack for playing sort of sympathetic villains. So do you do that yourself, or you just are attracted to sympathetic villains, or what's the story there? Is that making sense at all?
Yeah, it makes total sense. First of all, I thought you guys were way behind on the Being Human thing, right? Is that
Season 1.
right? And they're already done filming season 3. So you guys. Oh, you were in America. Okay. That explains it. Yeah, I don't. I think they are written, I think, sympathetically, but I think my thing is that I don't play bad guys. Paul was not a bad guy. To me, I don't look at I let people judge the story for themselves. As far as I'm concerned, as the actor, I have to get morally behind my guy. I have to justify what that person's doing and make it right for myself, right? Even bad people do things that they think are right. They're all trying to win, and so I always look at the characters as good guys, and let the story tell itself, and let you be the judge of whether I'm a good guy or a bad guy. But I think in Supernatural, it's kind of written sympathetically. I think. Do you, or am I wrong? You think it's written sympathetically? Right. Lucifer tells the truth. Everything he says is true. I think he's got a real beef. I think any of us who had a similar beef would probably be pretty pissed off too. We might not go to the lengths Lucifer goes to. But that just shows me that Lucifer's passionate. So I I like sympathetic guys like that. Bad guys. Bad guys drive a story too. If you think about it, if it weren't for the bad guys, the good guys. Jared, where would Jared and where would Dean and Sam be without the bad guys? Listening to classic rock, sitting home, getting fat, drinking beer.
There wouldn't be a TV show called Supernatural.
Right? There wouldn't be that. We make it supernatural. So, does that answer your question? Very good. Very good. Oh, there's the microphone.
Hi.
Hey.
So you ended up, with Supernatural, you ended up on a show that had some very well-established and loved characters. Did you have any fears about coming onto a show with such a, well, large fan base?
I didn't know how large the fan base was, in fact, until after I had gotten on the show. But the same thing happened simultaneously with Lost. So I think there's always a little bit of anxiety coming onto any show for the first time that's been going on for a while. Not only because it's established a fan base, but the people have been working together for a long time. And you're just kind of the new person on the block. And everybody's got their timing, they know each other. You're the stranger that has to, you're the redheaded stepchild that has to come in and get love, so to speak. And that can be a little bit nerve-wracking. But I've been doing so many shows where I come in and say hello and then leave that it's becoming a little bit less daunting than it used to be. You get your feet wet right away and then you forget that you're nervous about, anybody. But good people. I love Jared and Jensen. They're good guys. And it's just become kind of a family at this point. That's what's fun about being on a show for a long time, is you become family, basically, with everybody. Then it's really sad when it ends. And Supernatural hasn't ended yet, so that's a good thing.
So we all know they pull lots of pranks. Have you pulled lots of people?
Not on the show. But I did get back at Jared for farting before a take and leaving me there to have to do the take on a closed set, a set smaller than this. I don't even know if he knew that he had done it before the take, really. It wasn't like a deliberate prank, like I'm gonna get Mark and fart before the take. He just kind of farts and they go rolling, and you're left to deal with the consequences. But that burned in me for a long time. And I had to do something about it. So one of the conventions, I got a picture of his, and I said to the person who gave it to me, do you mind if I deface this at all? Because those guys are just too good looking. You got to do something to them. And he said, no, go ahead. So I drew an extremely tiny penis. And testicles on there. No pubic hair. Earmuffs. And Jared texted me. And it wasn't at that convention either. I think it was like a convention later that thing made the rounds and finally landed in front of him on the desk. I wonder if I can find that text. Let me see. Give me a second here, because I'm not very technological. I'll read it to you though if I find it. I don't even know if it'll make sense. I think he was enraged. The truth hurts. He said, I can't read it to you. That was evil, wasn't it?
It's not like he's headed to,
The reason I can't do it now. Hey, Commando. Thanks for the huge dong. I can't read the rest. If you're good, I will complete the text. But only if you're good. Yes. We had somebody walking around with a microphone, but there she is. Oh, there's the microphone.
In your character in Lost, did you get explained all about that?
I don't know if they just made it up as they went along, but they didn't explain it to me either.
Do you understand it now?
I think I do. Do you? You mean the whole show?
No, just you actually.
Jake?
You and your brother.
Me and my brother? The Cain and Abel kind of dynamic? I don't know that I have any greater understanding than anybody else, in part because I never really watched this show.
That's because you knew you died.
I died? What? Yeah, I never really watched the show. My wife watched it for me. So I missed out on, all the minutia, the crazy stuff that kind of took people into weird directions, intellectual exercises. But it seems to me that the story itself is just a redemption story, even for Jacob. And the nice twist in the Jacob character is that, because I think we all thought that he was the Christ figure, the Messiah, a God. And in our minds, that kind of figure is perfect, and Jacob turned out to be anything but that, and spent his thousands of years on that island trying to redeem himself for his sins, like the other characters are trying to redeem themselves.
Will you be on Hawaii 5-0 like everyone else?
Has everyone else been on Hawaii?
Most of them.
Oh, you mean from Lost? Yeah. I don't know, I'm friends with Scott Conn too, so you think maybe
You could be a villain.
I'll find my way there. I'll text him and ask him, why the hell am I not on your show, you whore? I'm going to tell him you said hi to him. Yeah, I wouldn't mind, because it's just nice working in Hawaii. Jesus. That's the reason to do that. Yes?
Hi, what do you think
Did you lift me up earlier?
Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
Hi, Lucifer in the cage, what do you think he's getting up to? Playing board games or...
In the cage?
Yeah.
Am I alone?
Yeah, that might
You
be it.
think Lucifer would play board games? That's brave. Monopoly with myself. What do you think Lucifer would be doing there alone? Why is he in the cage? Why is he in the cage?
Well, he might not be alone because... Well, when you open.
Screw whoever's in there with me. Why is he in the cage, I wonder? Sam! Put him in the cage. It wasn't a rhetorical question, it was a serious question. Do you think Lucifer has issues? Meaning, do you think he takes things personally? I think so too. I think Sam's in for the shit, because he's not playing board games, he's planning. He's working out in intimate detail how he's going to ruin those guys. I think something's got to happen to Crowley too. And then when I get out of that case, isn't Crowley's kind of the gatekeeper now, isn't he? He's got to be the what do you call it? The warden. He's the king of hell. Is that what he is? Yeah. Anyway, something's got to happen there. But I think Lucifer plots, plans. And stuff. Huh?
Crowley redecorated as well.
Yeah, I heard. He put pictures of himself up or something, right? Yeah. Let's see how long that lasts.
Okay, I have two questions.
Yes.
First one, when you were filming and you're like missing Sam, did like Jensen and Misha get like distracted by Lucifer when he's talking? Because he like makes snappy comments and
Because who's he? Me? Lucifer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to pretend that they don't know that he's there. But do they get distracted and like giggle at the things that he says?
No,
They don't.
they never did.
Okay, my second question is, can you tell us if there's more than 8 seasons of Supernatural?
Can I tell you what?
If there's more than 8 seasons.
If there's more than 8 seasons, I think they just got picked up for the 8th, right? They don't know. That's as far as they know. Every year they find out whether or not it's going to go a year further. Isn't that terrible? God, that's the anxiety. Yeah, so as far as I know, it's 8. I think. Don't hold me to it.
Sorry to ask another question.
Why are you sorry? We have a lot of time together.
Everyone else gets a chance. I'm not sure if this is a no-go area. It's not even dodgy, don't worry. It's kind of...
You have to answer this question.
It's a while ago as well, but what are your thoughts on moving Alan?
Moving Alan. Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Me sharing that, aren't we?
Yes, actually. It was a while ago. Like, what was the
Did you ask Misha his feelings about that show? About moving? No?
Yes, not really.
No, but I thought maybe you traveled to some other convention.
Oh,
and maybe
no.
asked him, because I know he gets
I was in
around.
the middle of
He gets
nowhere.
around. What? I barely remember that movie, but I don't remember being very fond of it.
You were sort of painted.
I was painted?
I remember that.
You remember more about it than I do. I think I tried to put it out of my mind. The only thing I remember about that movie of any substance is that I had to like fall into the Salton Sea. And the Salton Sea, for you guys probably don't know what that is, it's a body of water in like Palm Desert, which is kind of northeast in the desert in Los Angeles, near Palm Springs. And it's this lake composed of all the water runoff from the farms. It looks like coffee. And it's so salty and disgusting. The shore is lined with the bones of dead fish, so things can't live in it even. And I had to get in there and out. And that's the only thing I remember from that movie, and it was hideous. I hated that experience. But thank you for bringing that up, because now I'm in a bad mood.
I was compelled to ask it by someone else.
Were you compelled?
I was compelled. I was like,
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that show. I don't even know how it turned out. I hope it.
It's like, do you have to take jobs that you don't really want to as well, in combination, or was that more in the past?
I'm kind of a counter-cultural guy. I mean, truly counter-cultural. There's people who will get up here and tell you they're counter-cultural, rebel types. I feel I really am. So almost every job I take doesn't say what I want in the world. It feels kind of like an outer body experience, because I'm not saying my artistic vision, so to speak. So I'm actually working on doing stuff like that for myself. But yeah, I have to take jobs all the time that are. I mean, the projects are good. They're interesting as far as that goes, but not my cup of tea. Yes.
Looking on IMDb, you've got 114.
Pornos.
And of all the things you know, like you've done an episode of Castle and Chuck and
Oh, that was fun. That's fun.
is there any one that you just had one episode that you wish that character had been extended to have a recurring role in a series that you were on?
No, because usually the storyline's kind of wrapped up in those single guest starring parts, and the ones that didn't feel like it usually extended into something longer. I can't think of any right now. I mean, I forgot Moving Alan. Right when I'm done with something, I put it out of my mind as if it didn't exist, except Supernatural and Lost, because I'm reminded, but in a good way, all the time, and refreshed. Otherwise, I have to read 100 scripts, 200 scripts a year, so I don't remember everything. I'll think about that now. Maybe there is some character that I wish would have been reprised again.
Mark, I don't
Yeah.
know if you've seen Matt Cohen doing Cowgirl Up, but have you ever done
What's that?
Matt Cohen played young John Winchester.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen him do it, but I heard.
Okay, well, have you ever done a role in drag?
In drag?
Cowgirl Up is
And I would love to do that.
Cowgirl Up is Matt Cohen in drag. He's a female sheriff.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
He's got the little Daisy Dukes on and he's washing a horse.
And that's in the show?
Yeah.
That is
The
hilarious.
reason I asked is because you would make a remarkable Frankenfurter. I've seen you doing some transvestite.
It's on YouTube. And you can hear it? Somebody played for me. I couldn't really hear my voice, and there was other people singing. It was hard to hear my...
She's got it with her.
Oh, boy.
You had all the moves, the time warp, and you looked so natural during Rocky Horror.
Well, when I was 16, I don't recommend this, what I'm about to say. My stepbrother used to steal his mom's car. I would get in it with him, and we would go to Hollywood, to Sunset Boulevard, with friends. We'd pick up a bunch of friends. This is terrible, sorry. But long time ago. And we would go to a place called the Tiffany Theater on Sunset Boulevard, which was the place to see Rocky Horror Picture Show on Friday and Saturday nights. It's since become an actual theater where they put on live performances. But that was the place to go. Every Friday and Saturday, we probably went there for a year and a half, maybe two. It was the best time ever.
Was it audience participation like?
What's that?
Was it an audience participation?
Oh yeah. It was the place to see it. In New York, if you're in New York, that was what. But in the West Coast, the Tiffany Theater, probably someplace in San Francisco would have been great too. But that was the place to see it in Los Angeles. It was famous for it, and the line would be around the block, all the way around the big. I don't know if any of you have been to LA, but the blocks there are huge line all the way around the block. So I did that every weekend. And so I had very fond feelings about Rocky Horror. And I was going to put up the play actually in Los Angeles, and I was going to play Rocky. I was going to play Frankenfurter. So we still might do it, but we'll see.
Or what would your drag name be?
Priscilla.
Queen of the desert.
Dominique. I don't know. What do you think it would be? Lucy.
Lucy Foon.
Lucy Foon? Lucy Foon. Yeah, I'd love to play a character in drag. I played a couple of gay characters, and that was really fun. Flamboyant. As long as it's flamboyant, I like that. Anybody have any questions? Oh, we have a question up here. Wait, the microphone is coming.
I'm not too sure. Is Lucifer actually still in a cage, or is he actually with Sam, or just?
I can barely hear you.
I'm sorry. Okay. Is Lucifer still in the cage, or is he actually in the cage? Do you know?
I do know. And if you're good, maybe I'll tell you that after the test. But maybe not. What do you think?
He could be in both places because he's Lucifer. You know? Maybe.
Very interesting theory. Very interesting theory. Any other questions, folks? Yes.
I'm sure you get this all the time, but did you?
Good projection, by the way. You didn't even need the microphone.
Did you ever actually sing Stairway to Heaven?
Did I ever actually sing it to who?
Jared or Sam? Stairway? Endlessly?
Only in bed. with both of them. It gets kinky over there in Vancouver. How has that become kind of popular? I've been requested this a couple of times. Why is that? Is it ironic that I'm singing Stairway to Heaven? Is that what makes it interesting? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What's the line in the show?
It's when Sam's drinking a lot of coffee so he doesn't go to sleep. I think it's around the end. And Dean's like, what, you still hear him? And he's like, yeah, he's been singing. So what's he singing? Oh, Stairway to Heaven. And Dean's like, oh, that's not too bad. He's like, yeah, for 48 hours.
Can you imagine that? You know, that's the first time I've known this. I've been wondering why people have been asking me to sing Stairway to Heaven. I'm like, people almost think I have a damn good voice. No, it's because this thing is going on. Wow. That's a whole other ball of wax. Yeah, I mean, that's just a whole different thing. Because you know Lucifer's not just singing it. He might sing it sometimes. But then other times he's probably, there's a lady I know. He's mixing it up, right? Or maybe the essence of hell is to do it or screaming it. Or I didn't want to do that because or maybe it's just, maybe it is just a repetition of singing. Even if you're singing it good 48 hours of that would drive anybody crazy, I bet. Wow. Well, that's good to know. I love coming to these things because then I actually find out about the show that I work on. I hear these great stories. Oh, great. Fantastic. Any other questions, folks? Yes?
Does that mean that you don't watch the show because you don't know what's going on?
I don't.
Why?
Why? Because I don't watch TV much. I'm too busy. And if I do watch TV, I watch one of two things. What do you think those one of two things are?
Here comes Honey Boo Boo.
One.
History Channel.
Huh?
History Channel.
Porn.
That's only when that's only when I'm on it. History Channel I kind of do watch sometimes. Now, I like watching UFC boxing stuff. I'm a martial arts guy. I like watching that kind of stuff. And the news. That's it. That's all I have time for. News in the morning. And watching martial arts techniques when I can in between other things that I'm doing.
So you still do the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah.
Have you
You
fought?
can't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on your own. It's not a martial art like that. What?
Have you gone up against Scott during the
Yeah, me and Scotty spar all the time. He's good though. He's a brown belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Bastard. But I'll get there. That'll get killed first. Did I answer that question? Yeah. You seem so bothered. You don't watch Superman. Why? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, I think there's a lot of actors that don't, pardon my French, you wouldn't be bothered by that, but I was talking to a woman in front of you. But, I don't know how many actors actually watch the shows. I mean, I know Sam from Being Human watches the shows. Sam Whitwer. And they all kind of do, but that's more like watching to see what works, what doesn't work, story stuff, you know. But I don't think Scotty watches. There's people that just, you kind of go, you're working, that's your job, and you go on to other things when you're not doing that. And television is your job, and you go on to other things for your entertainment. You go on to other things.
Can I just check? Have you spoken to Mark Shepard about coming here?
Have I?
Yeah, he didn't warn you or anything, did he?
Let's,
He hasn't been warned about question.
Oh, this is propped up a few times, has it, this question?
It's only been said once, but everyone just about involved knows about me asking this question.
Yes, I have not spoken to Mark Shepard about.
It's on YouTube.
Huh? It's on YouTube?
The question.
Oh, okay.
Have we piqued your interest now?
Yes.
You have to ask it now.
Why do we keep doing it?
This better be some freaking question after this build-up.
It's a 14-year-old boy question.
Oh,
He asked it last year when he was younger.
okay.
Have you ever had a boner on set?
There it is.
That's amazing. Is that the first time you've been struck for words?
No, you know, people have asked this question before in a different way. Because, you know, sometimes you do love scenes with women, and they're like, this guy had to, you know. And, you know, usually those scenes are so technical that, and there's 50 billion people around you, like a boom guy like with a mic right there, cameras right there, everybody kind of standing around. Unless you're that type of guy that kind of is enthusiastic about that stuff in front of people, chances are, you know, it's just going to be technical, and it's going to be like what they call in the acting world pure acting. You know, like when you're sick, when you have to pretend to be sick, that's pure acting. It's not like the stuff you do in a scene. It's just technical. So it's I have personally never had that experience. And if I am with a woman in that particular situation, I usually say this: forgive me if I do, and forgive me if I don't. And that covers everything, just in case. And I say that to my wife as well before. Forgive me if I do, forgive me. Don't. It's pretty sticky. It is. We're in a weird profession where, you know, it's our job to oftentimes be with beautiful women and make out and or sleep with them. Pretend to sleep with them. Although there are, there are people that have actually, you know, done that kind of thing.
So next time you talk to Mark, tell him you asked that question. See what he says.
I will.
And just for the record, his father was there as well.
Huh?
And his father was there as well because I said.
Oh, really? Now, what was Mark Shepard's answer to that question?
How old are you?
And did he proceed to answer it honestly?
Well. What was it he said? At that age, the wind blows. and he said, when you get older, you treasure it more. And his father
His father was there with him while he was doing it? And his father was like, yeah. That's funny. As you get older, you treasure it more. That's funny. But that's not really a direct answer to the question, do you ever get a boner on set? Right?
No, he never did. Not quite. But
He answered the question in general.
he talked
Youth, you're so young. When the wind blows. Yeah, that's funny. Any other questions, sir? Yes?
If you could pick any role in any film or TV series, what would you pick?
Pick any role in a what?
In any film or TV series.
Film or TV series? What would it be? You know, since I don't watch TV, I'm having a hard time coming up with a role on TV that I would like to do. I wouldn't mind being maybe a Bond villain. like one of the classic Bond villains. Dr. No. Anybody ever read the Bond books? You know how Dr. No dies in the book? You remember? He gets buried under a pile of bird shit. What a way to go. Yeah, I'd like to be a Bond villain, like in a classic sense, because they're pretty cool and really, really out there. Equal in stature to the hero that they're fighting, I think, and that's pretty cool. Yes?
So you watch TV, you play video games?
Yeah.
What are your favorite video games?
Ooh, I'm a big fan of Left 4 Dead. I'm a zombie apocalypse guy, so I like that. I tried Dead Island. Have you played that? It didn't work for me. Somebody was wearing a shirt. I said, "Did you like that game?" He was like, "Yeah, man, it's great. You're coming out with the second one." I said, "I wasn't a big fan. I felt bad because I felt like I was putting down his game." But yeah, Left 4 Dead is really good. I like scary games. Dead Space is pretty cool. What about you? What do you like? Silent Hill is scary. Yeah, that's scary. What else? I heard about Amnesia, but I don't do the PC games. I hear it's great, though. That's what I just heard that in the car today. Huh? Slender? What the hell is that?
It's you just basically go around with a torch and then Slender Man, which is like this pops out this.
Is that in that game? Or oh, that's a whole different thing.
It's a lot scarier than this house.
It sounds kind of gay. Sorry. Ooh, there's the Slender Man. Ooh, I'm scared now. Yeah, Amnesia sounds great because you have no weapons, right?
Yeah.
And a little torch or something. That's scary as shit. And you're in
The
a...
game changes as how you play it to make it more scary for the way you're playing it.
Make it more scary? Jesus. I love that. I love horror stuff, and I love the game. What else did I was into Resident Evil. Resident Evil is what brought me into it. And Resident Evil 4 I became obsessed with. And I played it until I got the frickin' Chinese typewriter gun. I mean, did you know that? Did you play all the way to the end? So you have infinite, infinite rocket launchers, infinite bullets. That was my favorite. You just kill everything.
Daisy.
Huh?
Daisy.
Daisy? Is that a good, that's a game?
It's a mod for Armor 2.
Armor 2. I don't know that one.
Armor 2 is a military game where they made a mod for it. Where it's zombie apocalypse. But it's all online, so it's always playing against other people as well. So they all want your gear and everything else. It became popular and the average lifespan became 28 minutes.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm so far behind the times technologically. I had no Wi-Fi in my house. And then Sam Whitworth from the show, we're gamers and we play when we're in LA together. And he's always wanted me to get online to play Left 4 Dead with him. So he actually set up my Wi-Fi. And I still haven't gone on to play. I still haven't played. I'm a little nervous about that because the infected can now come after you. And I know some of these guys that play the infected are my friends and they're really sick. They're gonna kill me. What else is a good game? I love that stuff. I'm looking for good horror games and movies and comics. I love the horror comics too. So if you guys know anything that you could recommend, let me know because I saw Cabin in the Woods. I did see that. I kind of liked it, but I saw it on a TV screen, so it might not have been quite the same experience. And I'd heard so much about it by the time I saw it. I was on location, so I saw it when I was in Montreal. I didn't have as great an experience as I thought it would, but it was still good. It was funny, it was quirky, interesting, scary at points. Wasn't there a Left 4 Dead phenomenon in there too? Apparently there's a couple of the zombies, they have a boomer in there, they have some of the huh? You have a witch too? Who did? Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of is an homage to that. That game's good. The first one, I like the first one better than this. Even though the second one has more zombies and a lot more stuff going on, the characters in the first one are great. And when are they going to make that movie? Right? I think Jim Beaver could be Bill. God damn it, Francis! Although I'm dying to be Bill, he's my favorite character. Jeez, Bill, don't rub it That's Francis. That's pretty good, right? That's a good Bill and a good Francis. Everyone else is like, I don't care about that fucking game. Sorry, I love that game. Yes. Oh God.
What is your favorite horror film?
You know, I don't have just one. It's like who my favorite. If somebody were to ask me my favorite actor, I probably have 10. And I feel the same way about horror movies. There's like 10 really great ones. Although I do feel The Exorcist kind of stays up there for me. But for a lot of people, I don't know about the younger generation. Did that translate over for you, for people who are younger, The Exorcist? Really? Because I saw it in a revival house about 10 years ago, before they did the remixed version of it that came out, had the wide release. They added those 20 minutes to it. And there were people laughing in the audience. I almost stood up and said, "Why are you laughing? This is frightening!" But I didn't. But that to me is one of the scariest movies, because I'd say there's 10 that I really can say I did. What about you? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite horror movie?
I like the Hellraiser series.
See, there's a series that you like. I mean, I like the first one, right? The second one. How are the other ones? You like that one?
I've really only seen the first 3.
Huh?
First 3.
You only seen the first one, but see, you like the series. Yeah. Who else? Who likes horror movies here? You like Hitchcock? Hitchcock horror. Very good. Which one? One. You like the birds? Yeah. The birds terrifying? Well, because he took phenomena that were in your everyday and he made them frightening. Who doesn't see birds every day? Or who's not taking a shower every day? Well, not me after I saw that movie. But, yeah, they should remake The Birds and make it more frightening. I don't know, little sparrows coming at you down there, like, get the fuck out of here! I want to see like a California condor, with a 15-foot wingspan, or that freaking killer New Zealand bird that was that eagle. What was that thing? I want to see that fucker. I want to see that bird doing some damage. Didn't that thing eat people? Wasn't that the legend? That it ate people? That's scary. That's a bird. Yes? Yeah? Oh, you're waiting for her.
If you could swap roles with anyone in Supernatural, would I swap them?
If I could swap roles with anyone in Supernatural? Well, since I don't watch the show, I'm not sure. But I heard, when I went up for Revolution, I went up, huh?
It's a cool show.
You like it?
Yeah.
Well, I went up for a different part than the part I'm playing. Eric Kripke was in the room and told me a story that I never knew. That he was considering both Misha or me for part of. Do you guys know this story? For part of Castiel, right? Or it was between me and Misha or something. I forget what the story was. So that's interesting. I mean, that's interesting. Maybe I would be Castiel. But I don't talk like that. I don't understand what you're talking about. What?
You want to try on the trench coat and have a look?
I'm good. It's got black ooze on it. What's that? I don't think that would fit me, would it? I mean, even though it's big, I don't think it would fit me. I'll try it on later. It's good. Yes? Yes.
We're basically screening about a week behind the US at the moment, so we're about 3rd or 4th episode.
I come in at the 3rd episode.
Yeah, that one's due to screen on Wednesday
We're like
night.
5 episodes.
That's the one that's coming? Yeah, I started the 3rd episode. And I don't think they knew what it was when I first started, and they've been kind of evolving it as it's been going along. I originally shot some scenes, and then they had me come back to do scenes that they had added to it because they decided they wanted me to have a history with the main character, Miles, and the other guy, Monroe. And so now I'm kind of part of the origins of the militia, you know, and originally I was just kind of coming in there as a guy who knew Miles, and, you know, we fight, he wins, he always wins fights, which bugs me. He needs to get his ass kicked. Everybody needs a good shellacking every once in a while, right? He's no different. But originally it was just something like that, now it's become something else, and I don't know where it's going. So, I mean, No, I don't think I was. Although they haven't made that clear to me, they haven't told me my past. Well, you'll discover, I think, in the third episode, they did, in those reshoots and the stuff, the added stuff, there's a little bit about my history in there, just a little, you know, like half a page. You'll see, you know, how they meet me, kind of thing. So I wasn't military before that. I was a civilian. Yeah. I have to go straight back to it. I mean, I know since I don't do the consecutive episodes, I think I'm doing 2 in a row this time. Then I have to stay for a little bit. But I usually can fly back. They're stuck in North Carolina. And they're still filming right now. So I go back right the day after I fly home from here. I have to fly to North Carolina to work on that. Well, I did the reshoots for that episode 3, like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, and they just shoved it right into that 3rd episode and edited it fast and got it on its way. Yeah. So there's usually, I mean, they start shooting the shows. There's usually about 3 or 4 months. You know, they build up. They get about 80% of the way through before they start airing the episodes. So they're filming about 20-30% of the remainder of them as they're coming out. Yeah, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of movies being produced in a short period of time. Any other questions, guys? Have we exhausted the one? Yes.
With the exception of certain questions from the front row, we've been good. Can we hear the rest of that text?
We'll send Michael out of the room and then you can read it.
I don't know if you've been good yet. Is it time, or is it time for us to go? Almost 5 more minutes?
It would be a shame if we ran out of time.
Really? Oh, my phone died. Dang.
You do realise we'll all be at the cocktail party tonight, don't you?
And I didn't bring my charger. Shoot. Hey, Commando. Thanks for the huge dong. I must say, it was bigger on the fucking poster than it is in real life. Next one's on me. Well done. I texted back, let the games begin. No further texts. I expect to see a host of pictures of extremely small penis Lucifers.
Is that how you end all your panels? I said to last time we need a badge that says Lucifer's bag of dicks.
Oh yeah. Oh, how was that? Somebody said Lucifer was a big bag of dicks.
Richard Sprague Jr.
I just had a picture of Lucifer with a giant bag of.
That is a great visual. You know, But you know what? I had gotten that visual out of my head until you just now reminded me of it, and now I'm going to be haunted by it for the remainder of the evening.
I wake up screaming in the middle of the night.
A bag of dicks! Yeah. How was that text? Did you like that text? I swear to God, it was the entire thing verbatim. What were you going to say?
Are you going to do the zombie-thon tomorrow?
The zombie-thon? That sounds fun. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It depends. What time does it start?
Yes.
It's all day.
Yeah, I saw some of your flyers.
Is it zombies?
They do body makeup effects and everything.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
and they're going to be. Is it going to be enough? Is it just the zombie-thon is the makeup, or are they actually going to chase people around?
You probably have to find out more details, but there's zombie around downstairs. They've got games. Yeah, they're doing zombie crawls, zombie Olympics. Zombie Olympics.
20-meter crawl.
What's your favorite zombie movie? As I'm doing the sound from Sean, right? I like that sound though. I got that from Resident Evil that's the way the zombies were. What? Shaun of the Dead. It's your favorite zombie movie? Zombieland's your favorite? Zombieland's
Big Boys Toys, if they'd arranged it, I would have done it, but they haven't, so no.
She's just your favorite.
I'm going to book some time.
That's fine.
Fine, it's all right. You're the man about town. You need a social life.
I have to drag them away because half of you are meeting in an hour and a half.
Wow.
So if I get a huge round of applause.
It was fun. Thank you.